Hey guys. So, I need to get myself a full set, and let's talk about this first of all, right? A greenie, a greenie. I have definitely neglected myself lately and not taking care of my nails, and I knew it lifted, but I didn't fix it. I just let it ride. um, and if you know me, you know I always have my nails done. So this is completely unlike me. But focusing on other things um, these days that are more a priority to me. But let's get into this set though. I'm going to um, give myself a full set right now. My nails definitely miss the love. So I'm going to do it. So we have to clean up the nails first, prep them for acrylic application. The first thing I like to do is clean up those cuticles first. It's kind of dark. Oh, my light's not on. Let's fix that. It basically just lifts up the cuticle area to make it easier to get it off. Some people go through this step, others don't. It's definitely up to preference. Most people just um, use the cuticle pusher and then just trim off the cuticle. I find for me personally, it just makes it a little easier to locate that cuticle. And too, if you're nervous about cutting yourself with the cuticle cutter nippers, then using these other tools are a lot more useful to me personally. All right. So instead of a cuticle nipper, you can use this tool to clean up the cuticles. Hey guys, thanks for joining. So if you're just joining, this nail has what we call a greenie. A greenie is on there. That was me neglecting the nails. And what happens, how do you get a greenie? So basically that's usually if your nail is lifting, you get some liquid in there, and the liquid basically forms a bacteria, which we call a greenie in the nail world. So that's what that is. You can clean that up with some vinegar. You can sit it in vinegar every day for about 15 minutes until it clears all the way out. But also make sure you clean out with alcohol first too. But yeah, it's just a greenie. It happens. I was neglecting myself. It has been since February, like I was telling you on my last video. Since I have done my nails, I've definitely been focused on other things, which I've not included myself, unfortunately. But I'm getting back to self right now, so that's what's going on. So I'm also going to, after this part, I'm still going to use the cuticle nippers. This I just like, again, for it to help buff it out some and bring it to the top, to the surface for me. But I like cuticle nippers also because it just gives the extra crispy for me personally. It helps me see it by doing that steps that I just showed you guys first. It helps me to see what needs to get cut off. Kind of brings that up to the surface for me. So if you're here still, thanks so much for joining. Tell me where you guys are in the chat. I'm in the beautiful sunny state of Florida. And I know it's crazy here. I know. But hey, I could not see myself. Well, I could see myself living somewhere else. Let me not say that. But I love it here for now. Pretty much born and raised, so love Florida. I mean, the weather's a little bipolar, but hey, you win some, you lose some, right? So right now we're just cleaning up the cuticle area. And when you don't have your cuticle area cleaned up, then it's not going to come off as nice, your nail. If I'm being honest with you, it's not going to be as chic, as clean looking when your cuticles look all jacked up. It's like getting your car washed and not shining those tires. Like, what? You got to have the tires shine, y'all, for it to really give what you want it to give. Okay, similar to that. All right, so we cleaned up our cuticle so far, and now it's time to buff our nail so that we can actually start working. All right, so that's the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna get that nail buffed so that we can And preparation is one of the most important parts, or the most important part of doing the nail, because if your prep work stinks, then that's also how you can get a greenie as well. This little guy here, but this one came, the nail was lifted. I definitely noticed when my nail was chipped, but I didn't do anything about it. Or when it lifted, I hit something really hard. I'm super clumsy. As I explained in my last video, I'm like misclums a lot. Like I will stub my toe. I don't seem to know where my nail starts when I have acrylic nails on. Like in my mind, they're not that long, but in reality, they are very long. So I tend to not know where it is a lot of times, and I will hurt it. But also when you're buffing your nails for this stuff, you want to make sure that you're on a very low band. Like you don't want to be on an 80 grit or anything like that, because it will remove the stuff from the nail. Move this down some. Yeah, might be better. Alright, so now that we've filed down the nail, or not filed it down, we prepped it for acrylic attachments. Let's get our tips now. I have a lot of these tips. I'm going to use these, and let me see what kind of tips I want to use today. Let's see. Lots of few different options. I'm not sure which one I like today. No, I don't want to go duck. I don't want to go minis. Don't want to go that. Oh, these might work. Yeah, let's do some coffins. But we're going to cut these down for sure. Let's do some coffins. I'm not going extra long coffins today. I just don't feel like it. Oh my gosh, it could be a lot of work a lot of times when you're going when you have these super long nails. It can be a lot sometimes. Yeah, that's perfect. So also again, what I'm going to do, because that nail I'm gonna clean that nail off first with some. I'm gonna do this one with some alcohol. My nail glue here. I like the nail glue on the actual nail. Tomato. Some people do it on the tip. I'll show you either way, but not a huge difference. So we're gonna put that right on there, and you want to make sure it's straight. You want to hold it just for a few seconds to make sure that glue and things adhere. Alright, yep, it's on there. Good. You can see. Move along to the next finger. So again, you can do it on the actual nail tip or on your actual nail. Either way works. I usually prefer on the actual nail tip, but I'll show you either way again. So now you just want to make sure that nail, it aligns on there and is flush. Again, holding it down just for a few seconds just to make sure that it adheres. Alright, and we want to make sure, is it straight? Yes, it's straight. For a second I was worried, but it was my pan that wasn't straight at all. And what you'll notice too is once we get to the next nail, usually your index finger, these two fingers right here, and your pointer, they usually have the same tips that you'll need for those. Wait, I can see that nail is not flush. It's not secure on there. So I'm gonna put some more glue on there because I can see that it's not all the way secure on here, this corner. And if you don't secure that properly, that's how you can get fluids under the nail, and which will cause a greenie. But greenies are caused by more than just application. Greenies can also be caused by when you damage the nail. Like for example, my clumsiness. I hit things rather often, so that's how I also end up getting a greenie for this first finger. I got a greenie on there because I was Miss Clumsy. And I seen it and I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything about it. I just let it go. Just focusing on other things, just not caring about that. So that's what happens there. This one took a piece of my glove, but that's okay. We're gonna butt that out. All right, now we know it's flush in there. Before we had a little lift under there. It wasn't completely flush. You could see underneath the nail that it wasn't all the way down, but now we're good. Moving along. As I mentioned to you, these two fingernails usually have the same nail tip. So that's the fastest way. One of the ways that'll help you speed up while you're doing yourself and or others is that's an easy reminder. For the most part, most people have the same length on those two nails, or the same width on those two fingers. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining. So I was thinking doing some blue nails to match my toes, but I'm feeling a little excitement today, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like going too boring today. Um, so yeah, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions of something you want to see, let me know. And we'll see if we can make that happen today. Or at least maybe in a future session, if not today. Oh, that's too big. And it's important that you not have the nail too big or too much over the, or you want it to go to the edge on the nail, you'll notice, but you don't want it to go over at least. Going over would be a problem. Alright, so let's add that. Alright, so now this is what we have so far. I am not gonna have my nails this long this time, guys. I just can't. I cannot do it. I definitely have worn them this long before, but that's usually if I'm going on vacation or something. Other than that, like, no, I just can't. So maybe this long at least. Yeah, this is usually my standard, this long, which is not too short. So that's what we're gonna go with today. Let me see this. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix this freaking camera. It's not making me happy right now. See if I can tighten it up. Okay. That's a little better. Okay. Now you're right here. I think it's good. I make sure that it's lined up here, that it's not crooked. Okay. Boom. Let's do that for all of them. And you notice this just helps so that you're not trying to side by side each nail, because you know how long it is because you've used it this way. So all of them are going to come out the same exact length. No questions asked. And this is just like hitting me like right now. You might need goggles for this step, just for safety precautions. You might need goggles. All right. So we're gonna go this length today. Oh, I don't know, that's kind of long. I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Yeah, that'll be fine. It'll be just fine. I didn't know if I wanted them this long, but that is my usual. I wanted something a little bit shorter, but as I'm thinking about it more and more, I don't want something shorter. All right. I don't know why my glue doesn't want to close today. All right, so moving along. So now that we have done that part of the process, the next step is making sure that, oops, I noticed this right here, is making sure that your nail is flush. It's flush. What I mean by flush is we want to make sure that it's straight, flat on the nail, or it's leveled out, the tip that you put on with the nail. Because if it's not leveled out with it, what's going to happen is you're going to have, again, that's going to have what causes lifting. And that's how you get water trapped under the nail. I seen this was lifted. So you get water trapped under the nail, causing stuff like this greening. But again, this greening, me being clumsy, Dree being all clumsy per usual, and not caring about fixing it. Usually I would have run to the nail shop to get it done, get it fixed, but I've been neglecting myself, y'all. How many of y'all have just been in that space before where you're just neglecting yourself. Everything else is more important for whatever reason. Just everything else seems to be more of a priority. I am guilty of it. I'm so guilty of that. And this, let's use this today. I need to clean that out too, by the way. Obviously, you can see that. Let's collect this dust. I didn't do that earlier today, and I feel like I already have dust too many places. I'm not happy with that. So I'm gonna turn it on now since we're gonna have a little bit more dust than we did just before when we were prepping. So as you can see, this is what I mean by flush. Like you can't see kind of where the nail started, kind of that what you just put on there. You shouldn't be able to kind of see that. That's going to ensure that you don't have the lifting later on and things like that when you make sure that this part is flush with the nail. You don't want to go too deep either. That's how you get rings of fire on your nails. That just means that you filed it too far down, like you filed on top of it, causing kind of like that line on the nail. So be careful with that when you're doing this part though. You can also use a nail file instead of the E-file for this part if you're worried about taking it down too far. There are some tips that are a lot easier to work with in that said. Like I noticed my tips that are kind of nude, they're very thin, so this part you really don't have to do much of. But these particular ones, I do tend to have to file down just a little bit more than those. For those just joining, welcome. Right now we are prepping the nail for acrylic application. And this is again one of the most critical steps in the process, because failure to handle this step right will cause lifting and or your nails to crack, things of that nature. It won't adhere properly if you don't do this step correctly. So you want to take care of your prep again as your most important step of the process. How's it going? Oh, what kind of nails did you do, M. Jones? love French tips. Those are so classy. So classy. I think that's my top one. I do most of French tips all the time. Sure, what's your idea? Alright, so the nails are flush now. Now it's time to prep the nails. Excuse me. Now it's time to get them ready for splash tips. Splash tips. I don't think I make a rainbow splash tip. Oh, okay. I missed that part of it. I just had rainbow nails though. I just did. If I didn't just have rainbow, I would definitely. Because I love a little rainbow set. I really do. Maybe next time I'll do that. I just got off of those. This is the hydrator on the nail. If you'll notice, as I'm putting it on, it's like disappearing. That's a good sign. That means that the nail is basically prepped correctly. If there's oil in the nail still, it's not going to, that liquid's not going to disappear like that. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about with the splash spots. But I didn't do any splash spots nails, but I did do rainbow just recently. As you can see, it's still right here. I had this rainbow. I used these colors when I did the last set that I just did on myself. I did those colors. Thanks for sharing, Jones. I probably will try that next time though, because I haven't tried the splash spots. I know exactly what you're talking about though, because they almost remind you of cow nails, almost like how the design is how you kind of accomplish that. Kind of similar ways for that though. Now we're going to go in with some primer. And we're going to go over with the primer 2 times, because primer is what helps the nail adhere. And for this particular nail primer that I'm using, that is the recommendation on there. I did not get this piece of, I had this piece of glove on here, stuck on here when I was putting that glue on, and I did not get it off. It's going to drive me batty. Okay, now it's a part of me. I'm over it. Alright, moving along. So, I'm going to go ahead and again primer the nails. I don't need this anymore. And what's important to remember too about this step for primer too, you shouldn't take too long before you put the acrylic on, because primer goes away in about 15 minutes or so. So be cognizant of that, or thoughtful of that, when you are doing the nail. And again, we go over this step twice, only because the primer that I use that is the recommendation to do this step 2 times. So we do it twice. And I'm using YN protein bond for this. That's Young Nails protein bond if you're not familiar with YN. Not Young, y'all know what the other one is, but yeah, not that one. But Young Nails is the YN I'm talking about right now. And I'm not going to worry about that piece of glove because I put crazier things under my nails. So yeah, money, pieces of lace, greenery. So yeah, why not? We can just leave that there and move it along. So right now, again, this is the final step of prep before we go ahead with application. And I'm so sorry, I just realized like I need to get my camera angle together so y'all can see this better. Like I got it jacked up, y'all. My bad. Let me fix that real quick. Real quick, let's fix that. I had moved this camera and I did not check it out really good before I started. I'm one of those, if I make a decision to do something, like I gotta do it right then because I will change my mind really quick. So once I get my mindset that I want to do something, just do it right now. Right now, because I could change in like 10 minutes. So that's what's happening. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay. Now we can drop this on too. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so I'm also going to be using some Valentino acrylic powder. This is Prettiest Pink. One of my favorites from the Valentino collection. For me, I just like that it's a very nice top. Thanks for stopping in, M. Jones. It's definitely a opaque acrylic, which I do like about it. Is probably my favorite part about it is because it is opaque. Like you can't see through it. Versus some of the other ones, you can kind of see through that acrylic, like the clears and things like that. But I love this pink one, and it's especially if you're going to do French, it kind of sets you up already for the win when it comes with that. So let's go ahead and get started. I didn't put enough that time, and that is okay because we can fix that. But again, I really do like this prettiest pink color because it has that almost a natural French color underneath French color. So it's like even if I haven't decided my design yet, I could always go French if I want to with this. Like super easy. Is I think one of the main things for me that I really like. All right, so right now it's okay, but if you'll notice, it doesn't have that apex arch on it that it needs. The apex arch is really important too because that helps to make sure that your nail is not subject to break. So you need to make sure you have a sufficient apex, and your apex is usually on the mid part of the actual finger itself. So you can always go back in and add that too. All right, so now we have that apex. If you notice from the side, that apex is there now, but it's also subtle where it's not overbearing either. It should be something that's kind of not noticeable at the same time. Like you know it's there because it supports the nail, but it shouldn't be so obvious to where it's a sore eye. Moving along. That's not enough acrylic on here. That's okay. Oh Lord. Um, Also too, you want to make sure that your ends are not super thick also, 'cause that's just going to be more work later on that you're going to have to do by filing it down. So I try not to have a super thick end because again, that's just going to be more work on the back end. I want to make this kind of as sleek as possible. And usually too, when I'm doing a longer nail, I would have already kind of done these without and then put it on my hand. Like not as a full press on set, but like because it's a lot harder to do your nails this way versus if you just add the tips with the acrylic already on there. That's usually what I do. But I wanted to show you guys application today since I was already doing my nails anyways. I figured I'd let you guys join in on the fun. Hey, for those just joining, welcome in. And don't get too stressed out if you're doing it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is jacked up. Thankfully enough, you do have the other steps that you have to do, like buffing and all that stuff that can bring your nail all the way together. So I never stress too much about that if something is not to my liking per se, because I can always fix it then. Like this one, the apex ain't apexing like I needed to. So I'm gonna fix it a little bit more here first, and then we'll move on. Perfect. And two, it's I'm thinking about starting to try like polygel and different things like that. I have not ventured out yet, but I do like the option of those because it doesn't really dry until you set it, versus acrylic, as you know, that sucker is drying as we speak. Like, it's happening. And you can't slow that process down, especially if you're in humid conditions. That dries it a little bit more. And I'm always cold, so I usually always have my heater on in my office, so that definitely changes the temperature of the acrylic, and it changes how fast and or slow you can complete the process. Unfortunately, that is something to consider too as well when you're doing acrylics, how what your temperature is in your room, because again, that will impact how successful your acrylic will adhere, basically. Even with my hand, like how I do my big toes, I used to do my nails like that. Like I used to get them kind of thick because I was so clumsy. I'm a little bit better now as far as not breaking them with my clumsiness, but I will definitely have them lifting or something because like washing dishes, like I definitely don't know where my nails are. As I'm scrubbing some stuff sometimes, like I'm in there getting it. It's usually when I'm cleaning. That's usually when the damage happens to my nails. But I'm not as bad anymore, so I don't have to go as thick as I used to when it comes to my hands, at least, thankfully. And again, as you can see, this part, we're already starting to work on that apex, making it thicker at that base of the nail. That helps so that you won't crack your nails as easily, things of that nature. Without that sufficient apex, that will cause easy breaks, unfortunately. And some people do a lot of beads at once. On myself, it's a lot harder to do bigger, longer beads. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to do the live with holding my hand a certain way, so I'm not using a larger bead like I usually would for these steps either. If you're just joining, welcome in. All right. So where are you guys from? Any states out there? Anybody up north? I'm in the sunny state of Florida. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far though. If you are here, if you are watching this live, you are alive, and that means that you should be having at least an okay day because you made it. You made it. A lot of people like to look at the cup half empty. I like to look at life as the cup half full because life is just way too short, man. Just way too short. Some people didn't wake up today. So I'm just thankful I did, you did. We are here, y'all. We're here. So shout out to that. All right, so again on acrylic application, if you notice on the ends again, we want them to be not as thick as this apex area. So it's going to be like thinner, thick, thin. It's kind of the cadence of when you're doing your nail. That's how it's going to look super sleek when you have that uh, thin kind of edge to it. This little hair was trying to come out my brush. I got it out. All right, so that is the cadence kind of that you want the acrylic to be in. So as you're building that apex area again, you want that to be a little bit thick. That's going to help so that there's no easy breakage on the nail. When you don't have that proper apex, it makes for easy breakage. And you say, hey, so what's the apex? That's the thicker part that we're doing right now, right there. That's like the apex of the nail. Kind of almost like where that bend is or would be naturally on the nail. Oops, sorry, I'm a little too far back so y'all can't even see. My bad. Again, this is my second live, so I'm trying to get used to the camera and doing this, so bear with me. I will eventually figure this thing out, I promise. For y'all's sake and mine, I will figure this out eventually. See, just now I was so busy worried about the camera angle, I jacked that up, but thank goodness she knows how to fix it, child. She can fix anything, baby. And let's go ahead and fix that part too. Oh, my hand is cramping. Lord, it's been that long? Told y'all it's been a couple months since I took care of myself, so yeah, my hand is feeling it right now. Like, you don't hold your hands like this. What is happening? And a part of me just taking care of myself is overcoming fears. Like, to be here with you guys right now is a huge undertaking for me. Because surprisingly, I am shy. I'm not very social like that. I'm a little bit to myself, socially awkward, I guess you would say. I still see that hump on there, so I need to fix that some more. But yeah, just a little socially awkward sometimes. Anybody else out there like that? Still figuring yourself out, the people, how to socialize with the folks out there in the streets? Well, you are in good company if you are like that. Wow, these look jacked up right now. Thank goodness that we're gonna file them. And again, I usually would have done this. It's a couple different challenges right now. I've never done acrylics on live, so not having the camera at its best angle is one issue I see. But also, ah, goodness, oh Lord. Um, yeah, having to hold this in a way that you guys can see it and that I can do this is definitely something I'm gonna have to work on because it's winning right now. It's definitely winning. Oh Lord, right here, right here. Because I actually can't get too crazy on designs. It's almost time for me to cook dinner, so that's that. These kids and that man gotta eat. They gotta eat. And I don't know about y'all house, but mine prefers food from in the house than outside the house. So I be having to cook. Now it's time to do some shaping and stuff. It's gonna get loud for a second, so you're not gonna hear me talking for a second again as we turn this on and just get some stuff done. I'm sure you're probably wondering why I do this part. This just helps me to kind of gauge, to make sure that everything's going to be on the same, like, even stream. That just helps me see it easier. That's why I do that personally. And this is why I was saying I do like to do the acrylic on the nail first and then add it on, and then only have to be worrying about adding on the acrylic at this top. But I didn't do that today because I was going to take you guys along for the journey. But usually that's a lot faster for me too than doing it like this myself. It's just a lot faster, it seems like to me, to do it the other way. because when I'm doing it with myself, I feel like I OD buffing out the nails sometimes, and I don't want to do that today. So I'm just gonna use a 150 to be a little bit more cautious for myself. I also recommend that for new people when you're doing others, because an 80 could take it down too much and you'll be in a position of having to refill that. But personally, I'm tripping. Let me do my edges first for a second until I just look at them. I'm gonna go in and get this up first, kind of before you do that. I don't know how I almost forgot this part, especially how I jacked up some of these nail glue right now. you guys, like that just kind of helps me. That part helps me make sure I am staying in the lines basically, or that it's where it should be. Oh my gosh, keeps giving me a swirly whirly. Doing your own nails sometimes. Don't show out in front of the company. Gonna show out, y'all. Okay. So now it's time to buff it out. Turn this out a little bit too much. The buffers, excuse me. I'm gonna buff them all out now. Now that that part is done, it's time to do the fun part. This is just helping to make sure there's no particles in the nails to mess up your design now. So right. Let's go ahead and work it out. First things first, you have to do is put on your base coat. Let's move this for a second for now while we do this part. Let's get our base coat on. We are using gel polish, so you need that base coat. I'm shaking like a stripper in church right now. Keep it moving. I can literally hear the birds chirping outside right now. And it's almost 8 o'clock in the evening. Just crazy. Alright, now we gotta dry that. While that's drying, let's think about what we're about to do. Let's do, I do want to piece some French on there. I know. A little bit of French, a little bit of jewels. Yeah, let's not go too crazy. gonna go French on this one. My hand is shaking like crazy right now. Sheesh. Okay. Now that's under control. Oh my gosh. Now let's clean that up then. And the best way really to do French is when you use your matte top coat to do it too. I didn't put any matte on there first, which I should have to make it a lot cleaner. Oh man, I'm not gonna worry about that too much because I'm gonna put a jewel down there anyways. So I don't have to be super perfect at that tip down there, but I do want my edges to be kind of crisp. So let's wait, that look a little off. Look a little off to me. That's not like it. Okay. Let's try that real quick. Just gonna do this one all blue. Yeah, I need that other blue one too. Let me see. If you're interested in any of these products, just ask me in the comments what color it is or what brand, and I will share that with you. Oh, wait, let me get this one out the way. a quick few little seconds in there, especially while I look for my other diamonds. I had some other blue ones today I seen, but I don't see them now. I don't know where they went. Oh well, let's move along. These and these. Now, so we get in this section right here. This one looks like it has a hole. Oh my gosh, I can't even get it open. Jeez, okay. put these in another case, so it's a lot easier to get these out. Okay, I think that came out really nice. Let's put that one in there. Okay, yeah. And then the last one, I'm just gonna let it match my toenails at least, so they all come together. It's just a barrage of these different blues in here on top of that pink one. That's all it is. So we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna seal this out real quick. I don't like it getting stuff on stuff, so I'm gonna use this 3D sculpting gel around that one. This is so that it won't get stuck on my like hair and stuff. Like, I hate that when it gets stuck in my hair, so I'm just doing this part so that that doesn't happen. That's what this part is for. I don't like it to be bulky either, so I just try to get it in the crevices at least, so it can't do that to me. Okay. That is locked in now. Let me do that real quick. And can I do that on the big chunky ones? Cause I don't really like the stuff getting stuck in my hair and stuff. So I do that around those. And I do it around, like around these, it can take this glue. The other one a little bit, it need a little bit more. This one's don't really get stuck like that other one would. So this glue will be sufficient versus that other one. Other one need a little bit more love. Let's lock that in. This other one will be kind of quick though, because again, I'm just doing what I did on the other nail, and that was just add a few diamonds on there. That was kind of miscellaneous colors, miscellaneous blues. Do that on the pinky. Here. Did I dry this out on accident? What the hell? No, it's not. Okay. Actually, correction on that. I like to dry it. I like to, for this kind, on my toe, if you watched my live the other day, on my toe, I went top coat after the jewels, but that was because it was on my toe. In this case, I don't need to go top coat over the jewels because it's not on my toenails. I wear sneakers a lot, so my other one I did top coat over the jewels, but I don't need to do that on here. And then right now, I'm just wiping off the sides of the nail. If you don't do that part, that's how your nail end up looking bulky and junky too. So make sure you get them sides too. Wipe them sides off, baby. If you don't wipe them sides, it's gonna be looking crazy. When it dries, it's gonna look bulky. So all the work you did and making sure it looked crisp is gonna be pointless. And you don't want that. You worked too hard, didn't you? Okay. Sorry I'm not showing y'all this part. That's just me, again, wiping off the sides of the nail. Last thing I'm gonna do is just add the jewels. On the pinky. And it'll be done. And like I said before, I like to what do you call them? I like to dry them twice on the last dry. Well, this is almost the last dry. Well, most of this is the last dry because I'm about to just add these jewels for this last part and we're good to go. think I'm done now for real. All done. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining. Come back through for our next set later.